X's and O's Sports Speak Podcast, man. It's your host, Aaron Daniels, and I got a good friend of mine right here, man. He comes highly recommended to the show. His name is Sidney Carter, better known as Coach Carter to a lot of y'all, man. What's up, Coach, man?
What's up with you?
Man, not a whole lot. Just finally got you sitting down, even though this man don't do a lot of these. You know, he don't really do sit-downs, interviews, or nothing like that. So he's got the little man with him, so we're going to get real professionally unprofessional up in here. Yeah, all right? So, man, just let the people know where you from, dog.
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Tulsa, Oklahoma. Okay. And where'd you go to high school, man?
Nathan Hale.
The Nathan Hill, huh?
The Nathan Hale.
Okay. Now listen to this cat right here. We always have conversations. We going back and forth about how things are done today versus how things were done back in your era. And you know, I got the honor to play for you during my time when I was in high school, and I played AAU for you. And we both sit back and we watched things change a little bit. We watched one era where coaches were allowed to go a little bit farther in order to coach these kids tougher. And then today it's kind of, I don't want to say watered down, but it's a little more sensitive, man. How have you been able to, I guess, transition yourself from days of the past all the way to still be relevant today?
It's tough.
Young fella answering.
Everybody will say that you have to really change. I just kept my same style. You
Right.
know, if somebody don't want me around to coach, then hey, I just prefer not to do it. I just believe in giving everybody everything I got.
For sure.
You know, so I always hear people saying you can't do this, you can't do that, but stop. But I just it's one way I know how to do it. So I just do it that way, and that's it. You know, I don't want. My biggest thing, I never want a player to come back and tell me you did not get me prepared for that next level.
Right.
And no player that I ever coached told me that I cheated them. So
Right.
That was always one of my biggest goals.
I remember that's one thing you used to tell me even whenever I was playing with you about 10, 11 years ago. You be like, man, you won't be able to say, at least truthfully anyway, once you go to college that you weren't ready for it. Now, is that why you still coach AAU? Because you kind of get to make your own rules and do it the way you want to do it?
Yeah, and that's the big thing. You know, in high school, there's always a parent meeting about this, parent meeting about that. I mean, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. You know, you got a parent that never even played cymbals in a band, you know, and they want to try to tell you why they think their kids should play.
True.
You know, hey, I understand they love their kid. You know, as coaches, we love them too.
True.
If we didn't, they wouldn't still be around.
That's right.
But you know, at the same time, hey, you're a competitor. You know, so you're gonna put the best product on the floor.
Bottom line. Now, when it comes, I've heard some coaches say stuff like in their policies, they'll say, I don't talk to parents about playing time. And, you know, I kind of got mixed feelings about that because I feel like at some point you're going to have that conversation. But you seem like the type of dude that'll talk to anybody about anything just as long as they're ready to hear the truth. Like, well, what's your take on that?
Well, I ain't going to talk to no parent about no playing time after a game.
Okay, yeah. Probably not the best time to come approach him about no, you know.
But now, this is one thing I've always said about that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I've said the same thing. You know, we say that as coaches, but we still talk to the parents.
True that.
All right. My biggest thing is I want, as coaching, you still teaching players how to communicate.
Right.
So my thing is, I want that kid to be able to go home and tell his parents why he's not playing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you get that.
I remember you used to say, if I'm gonna see if I can quote you word for word. You would say, if you don't know the answer to that question as a player, then you further away from playing.
That's a lot more further away from playing for me. Yes.
And you know, I'm sort of the same way now as a coach. I like to try to create as much ownership as I can with these young dudes. I don't want to communicate through their parents to get to them on everything. Yeah. Now the big issues like transportation, if they're not driving, okay, I gotta holler at the parents about rides or whatever. Or money, well, you know, they ain't working and paying for nothing, so that stuff. But other than that, it's like if they really want to do it, they'll get the message to where it needs to go.
Oh yeah.
Now, as far as your coaching experience, though, where all have you been, man? Because people know you from being everywhere in Tulsa, dog, or Oklahoma for that matter, if you include the college level.
Oh man. Let me see. I started off at Nathan Hale. And after Nathan Hale, I went to Whitney Middle School one year.
Oh, yeah.
Which was one of my most favorite teams because
Yeah, you already tell me about
they
that.
won one game in 2 years.
Dang. So before you got there?
Before I took them. When I took them, they was 8th graders. And they tried to get everybody to come coach them. Nobody wouldn't coach them. And I ended up taking that team, and I told them, I said, the only way I coach it is the athletic director got to let me do it the way I want to do it.
For sure.
And I don't need nobody stepping in the way. And which the athletic director's son was on the team. And I put him out of practice one day.
There you go.
You know, and he come tell me, well, I think I need to help you. I said, well, you tried this for the last 2 years and you won 1 game.
Ooh.
I think I got this.
Yeah.
You know, I told y'all to leave me alone, let me coach it.
And they obviously agreed to the terms then, right?
They agreed to it, you know, and which that team ended up, we ended up being conference champs.
That's right.
And I mean, I just love that team, man. Love it.
Now, coming from Tulsa, that's the inner city. Maybe not the biggest city in the world, but it's still city living. And so you got city type kids, urban kids who may not necessarily have the means to do everything like a lot of the kids that we see today in the community that I coach in now. How was it? How many hats, I guess I'm saying, that did you have to wear as a coach? Like you had to be parent, counselor, taxi.
Do it all.
Man.
You gotta do it all. Everything. I was everything except for a doctor. I ain't gonna operate on nobody. But yeah, I mean, I had to do it all. I had a nice little S10 truck. You know, music blasting, had my rims on it.
The whole bit.
That truck ended up breaking down because
you racked up the mileage.
Yeah, I take one kid home. I love to mess up the kid. Take this kid home, and we get to his house. They had about 8 cars in the driveway. I'm like, wait a minute, now I can't keep taking you home. Y'all got all this.
Come on now.
And then they had 2 church vans. I'm like, at least donate the van where I can take.
You know what I mean? Home. Yeah, you said 15 passenger.
Yeah, 2 of them.
Oh man, yeah. See, that's just using you up right there.
Yeah, I'm like, well, man, we got to slow this down, man. You can get a ride.
Mm-hmm. Now, where's that fine line though between knowing that, and I'll tell you what, I'll be more specific because I've seen you not just kick kids out of the gym, but I've seen you kick kids off of your team because they just weren't committed, or maybe they just kept making infraction after infraction after infraction. But I know in a lot of cases you knew that these kids were probably worse off without being in your program. Like how do you make up in your mind like, damn, I don't want to do this, but this is what's got to happen.
It's hard. I put one player off the team, and he played on my AAU team. I put him off my AAU team, and I coached him at the high school too. You know, but I put him off the team because he was just so disrespectful to his mom. Right. And I told him, I said, I have a problem with you treating me better than you treat your own parent.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was hard for me to put him off the team. Right. But I had to. Mm-hmm. And I told him that if you get things right and your mom and you not fussing with your mom anymore, then you can come back to the team. Yeah.
Was that stuff that you witnessed with your own eyes, or that she was reporting to you?
Well, he told me.
Oh, dang.
I said, why you late to practice all the time? Well, me and my mama got into it. I'm like, boy, you the only black kid I ever coached got a Suburban in high school. She bought you a Suburban and you getting into it with her.
I know who you talking about too.
You know who
we're gonna remain nameless. He used to push the mess out of that Suburban too, man. You're right, man. Golly. Now, with you being a coach and a parent at the same time, because you got a grown son now, and then you got a real baby son. And one thing in my experiences, I've seen when you're coaching your son or your daughter for that matter, you're either too hard on them or you're not hard enough on them. How do you grade yourself as far as how you were whenever you were coaching Dedrick, whenever he was playing for you?
Well, that's why I was glad you came to coach me.
I did have to come here about that summer.
I told you, I said, I want to make sure I kind of balance this thing out, you know. And that's why I told you kind of take him.
All right.
I said, but don't baby him up.
No.
That's because it's not going to happen.
True that.
You know, I thought I did a pretty good job of, mixing it up. My main thing was I tried not to. We would talk basketball at the house, but I tried not to talk too much basketball.
Right.
You know.
Where he could tell the difference between coach and daddy.
Yeah, because that era right there. That's the era of when somebody talking to you, they kind of rolling their eyes.
Yeah.
You know, we couldn't roll eyes when we was coming up.
No.
They probably rolled because you got slapped.
That's right. You only get one time to do something like that. For real.
But yeah, I try not to stay on it too much. You know. So
With D. Now, what about the young one, man? If he gets to playing sports, have you figured some things out going through it the first round that you got it?
He don't play.
You hope he don't play, man?
I hope he don't play.
I remember one time he said you hope he play baseball.
Well, I would like for him to play baseball, but at the same time, I would hate to go to the games because I am not a baseball person. It's too hot. Just sitting to watch no action.
No action.
They say baseball, the game lasts 3 hours, but they say they only got 45 minutes of action.
Oh, dang. Yeah, that's all right.
So, it's a little boring.
Cool breakdown.
Me and him will go to the Drillers game every now and then.
Right.
But it's some little stuff that he can go do. They got a little place where they can go play on the slide and stuff like that. So we're not even watching the baseball game.
Yeah. It's entertainment in other areas. I feel you. Now, with you being a free agent this year, because you're not coaching right now, are you?
No.
How you liking that, man? Have you found something to do with yourself?
Hey, I'm loving it. I went down to, I guess it's been a few weeks now. I went down to Muskogee. I told Coach Berry I was going to come down there and because I went to one of their practice. And I saw Coach Berry and them tell the players the same thing over and over and over. I said, that's what I don't miss.
That's what you don't miss.
That's what I don't miss right there, And I told Coach Berry, I said, I'm going to come back, and because I noticed the defense, they wasn't never getting on the help line. And I said, well, let me come back and I said, just talk to your other coaches.
Yeah.
And I don't want to, step on nobody's toes.
Absolutely.
Make me feel like I'm trying to come and take their job. But
for real.
That,
I got you.
And because I love to mess out all them guys down there. And so he invited me and told me I can come back. And so I had fun with him, though, down there.
That's cool.
I had fun. But I'm going to tell you what, to me, it's a lot of fun. A lot more fun. Just, okay, I'm going to go help out with this practice.
Right.
So I went out and helped with that practice. Hey, if they lose the game, it ain't my fault. I'll just help.
Yeah. So you can go home and you don't have to take it with you.
Don't have to take it with me.
I got you.
Down to with Larry over there at Kellyville. Went down to Kellyville and talked with the team. He had me to come out and talk to the team about a week ago. And he was pretty excited about that.
That's good. So. One thing I've learned about kids though, because I was one of them myself, is like at some point. You could have a good coach that's coaching you, a good teacher that's teaching you, but sometimes that voice just gets stale, and you just stop. They could be saying all the right stuff, but it's like wah 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 wah, and then you bring somebody else that they don't hear from every day, and they reiterate the same message, and it clicks. You ever seen that happen?
Well, we're gonna use another former player and his daddy for a prime example, LeBron Buds. His daddy told me, he said when I was coaching y'all over at Central, he said, man. I'm telling him some of this same stuff that you saying, but it's like he's not listening to me.
Right.
Well, at that time, Dietrich was probably around about 8, 9, maybe 10 years old.
There you go.
And I told him, I said, don't worry about that. I said, that's just that age. I said, just remember this here. At one point, my son ain't gonna listen to me, so I need you to come and say the same thing that I'm saying to him.
It works.
You come say it to him.
I hear you.
So I mean, that's just what happens. I mean. I hate to throw you out there on this.
Do it, man. Go ahead. I got thick skin. I'm ready.
I remember one time in practice, the man, Ron Daniels, sitting up there in the stands, and he got on to y'all one day in practice. Oh, my goodness. And I remember you said it, but you said it real low. Shut up.
Yeah, I knew better than
I said, I bet you won't say it loud.
Nah, I ain't say it loud. He'd have got out there, chair been out there, hands around my throat. Oh, yeah, no question. So I'm guessing it never made you feel a certain kind of way whenever you're like, man, I'm telling this kid the right stuff. He just ain't hearing me. You knew exactly what it was when you saw it. Like, okay, it's that time, huh?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, speaking about a lot of the players that you've gotten to coach, man, you've gotten to coach some cats that could really go. Yeah. Off the top of your head, from cats that you coached, whether it was high school ball or AAU ball, that you can think of, like some of the higher profile cats that have some of the best resumes of the players that you coached. Go. Ooh. Yeah, it's that many, ain't it? It's that many.
It was a lot. I mean, if you want to start talking about probably the best shooters I've ever coached.
That's a good lane.
Oh man, got opportunity to coach Rodney Clark.
Yeah. You got to win a championship with him too, didn't you?
Got a chance to win a state championship with him, and I mean, could just flat out shoot it, you know. But I had some other players, and I've always said that I would have liked to see them have a shootout. You know, Jeremy Ford.
Yeah, I got to play with him, son.
I got a chance. Hey, Jeremy Ford come across half court. If you open, you better shoot it, or you coming out this game.
I remember that rule.
I didn't care about you have to be on no 3-point line. I cared about the time that he put in on his off time.
True.
And when his coach told me, hey, he's getting me up every morning at 5:30. He said, Jeremy wearing me out. I said, well, since I found that out, he's most definitely got the green light to shoot.
You better pull it.
And then the funniest one of all, because he was only about 5'4". He was only about 5'4". James Harris
with the biggest feet in the world for a
5'4" 13, 14 shooter.
Yeah, that's
like,
right.
When you shoot bigger than you.
Yeah, he was tripping, fall all over himself, but if he got set,
he was another. I remember one time he come across half court and his man backed off of him. He's in the circle, and his cue was hands down.
Right.
If I said hands down and he don't shoot, that sub was coming to get him. You know, and the good thing about having players like that is when that other team get on that 8-0 run,
right,
you just run a play for them and it's over.
And you can go ahead and
you
stop
know
that
it's
run.
over. You know, they gonna stop that run.
That's true. But here's how you know you had some good, not just good talents in those guys, but they were good teammates too. Because I don't know if any of them got that concept immediately without you having to remind them, like, hey, what did I say? You got to shoot that. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times they coming down like, nah, not that one. I'm gonna make that extra pass. You know what I mean? And when you got guys like that know how good they are, but they also know that they're just 1 out of 5. What type of difference does that make, man? I'm pretty sure you dealt with some selfish cats too.
Yeah, but you know what? And we was talking, me and somebody talking about this the other day, and I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it was the character players I had, but I've never had a team where somebody is fussing about, hey, this person, he's shooting too much, coach, or I'm not getting. I've never had that. I've never had it.
Probably scared of you, man.
If James missed a shot,
right,
he always had teammates. Hey, we coming back to you.
That's
Knock
right.
down the next one.
There you go.
I always made him feel good. So, and all my shooters, I had to tell my nephew one time, Ryan Carter, when he played for me, hey, you can't have more shots than my shooting guard.
I was on that team, and I remember that conversation.
You can't have more than my shooting guards.
Yeah, and he was that type of player, at least to me. You know him better than me, but in that 1 year, it seemed like anything that you told him that he couldn't do, he would try his hardest to show you, look, I can do this. You know what I mean? He'd go out in the game and try to do exactly what you told him.
He can't make that no-look pass from the top of the key to the basket. He gonna try it every time. When he finally got it completed, I said, still go get it out.
Still go get it out of the game. I don't want him to think that this is gonna fly right here, man. Now let's talk about leadership a little bit, all right? Because I've seen a lot of programs that have a real high-profile player, but he's not necessarily the cat that people rally around. You know what I mean? And let's look at the pros like Golden State Warriors. All right, Kevin Durant, to me, hands down the best player on that team, right?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't necessarily deem him as the captain or the leader. You know what I mean? Have you ever? How important to you, in your opinion, how important is it for the best player to be the leader, or is it important at all?
I just need a leader.
Yeah.
I just need a leader. Hey, I remember, and boy, you talking about a competitor.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people probably won't know him right now, but I got a chance to play against him a few times. He played at Jinx, Daniel Chi. When Daniel Chi went to Oral Roberts,
right.
I remember them even having him on the news, and they was talking about how he was the captain of the team when Daniel Chi wasn't even playing no minutes.
Right.
And that was something that I always talked to the team, all the teams that I was coaching back then.
True.
You don't have to be the best player to be the leader of the team.
Right.
It's got to be earned. It's all it is credibility.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is, just credibility.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, can't nobody throw credibility at you. You have to earn it.
Right.
You know,
No
when
question.
I played in college, nowhere in the world I was the best player on the team. Here I'm standing 5'11", maybe 6 foot.
Maybe 6 foot if we being generous.
Yeah, you know, depending on what type of shoes I got.
Yeah, that's the Allen Iverson type measurement right there.
Yeah, might be 6 feet. But I'm a shooting guard.
True.
Undersized.
Mm-hmm.
Now I got two teammates that's 6'5" and 6'6" shooting guards.
Mm.
You know?
Okay.
So I know I wasn't the best player on the team. Now
True.
I was leading scorer on the team.
Right.
But at the same time, I remember where some of the players is sitting in the lobby. Next thing you know, we talking about 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm.
Here I come walking through the door. They see me sweating. Man, where you been? I said, well, shoot. The gym was closed. I said, so I went out on the track and ran.
There you go.
And they were like, well, I'm going to start coming with you. You
There
know?
you go.
So players on my team, they saw how hard I was working.
True.
So once they saw how hard I was working, it automatically made it where, hey, everybody's gonna listen to me. So I could get on teammates.
Mm-hmm.
Had a 6'10" post player from Barbados.
Right.
You know, and he I remember one day he's getting ready to go to eat dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And I grabbed him. You can't even hit a hook shot yet.
Yeah, we gotta go to this gym.
You've been playing cricket all your life. Now this is your first year playing basketball. No, you finna stay in this gym. We finna work on some post moves.
He didn't even second guess you.
Never second guess me.
That's good, man.
He came on back in. Next thing you know, this nigga's in the game. Right hand hook shots, left hand hook shots.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Check this out. I heard from, and you probably heard this too from a mutual friend of ours. They say that players make coaches. Okay, I mean, to some degree, I think I agree with that. But also, I look at it like if those guys were, or girls for that matter, if they're that good, then they don't need any coaches. Like, what do you think is true about that? Do you think coaches make players or players make coaches? Or
Totally disagree with that.
Totally disagree?
Totally disagree.
Break it down.
Well, I mean, just like what you just said, if the players could get it done, why would an organization waste money on coaches?
True story.
They wouldn't waste money on them.
That was the only retort I had.
I mean, you look at, we're going to use Phil Jackson for a prime example.
Mm-hmm.
When Kurt Rambis was coaching that team at the Lakers,
Right.
Kobe Bryant went subbed himself back in the game without Kurt Rambis' approval. He's not pulling that same stuff with Phil Jackson.
Nah, it can't happen.
Not pulling that same stuff with Phil Jackson. And then as a coach, you got to put players in certain situations. You got to put players in a position to be good for this team.
Right.
And if you look right now, they still not getting it figured out completely. I think it's getting there a little bit better, but they still don't have it figured out on a lot of these NBA teams.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the Thunder for a prime example. I mean, you got 3 stars over there.
True.
Still don't have it figured out yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if that statement was true, then Allen Iverson basically would never been trying to really apologize and talk about, you know what, Larry Brown was right.
Man, you're right.
I mean, let's talk about how great Allen Iverson was. He basically said, "I needed Larry Brown."
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't buy into that. You know, you have to have a coach.
For sure.
You have to have coaches.
When it comes to coaching, and this is just based on your preference, would you rather have a team with a bunch of high-profile athletes, really talented, or would you rather have a team of guys maybe not so talented, but they buy in? You see what I'm saying? Because I put it this
So
way.
are we saying that first group not really buying in and they don't want to buy in?
Let's say it that way. Versus, would you rather have a high major type of talent or mid major type of talent? And here's where I'm going with it, because I watch the NCAA tournament every year, just like you do, and I see a lot of those mid major type of programs that have a lot of 4-year guys. All right, they a lot of times go further in the tournament than one of those one and done type programs, simply because they got grown men in their programs that been in there and been in the system for 3 or 4 years. And then you got one of these one and done type places, like let's say Kentucky or something like that. They talented, but those kids are just 18, 19 years old. Which one of those teams would you rather have?
Well, first of all, now, I don't never want to say this. I'm gonna have to be a little bit selfish for myself. And reason why I say that is I'd rather have players that's gonna buy in.
Right.
Because if I'm coaching that other squad, this over here gonna be a little bit white, a little bit
true
quicker
story.
than I want it to be.
Yeah, a little salty.
Yeah. So, but I'd rather have any team that's gonna buy in.
Right.
You know, I've never been that type to say, "Oh, I got to go get the best talent. I got to get the best." I've never been like that because one, I've never second guessed my coaching.
That's right.
I've always had confidence in my coaching. I always feel that I can get the best out of anybody I put out there. If you gonna go through my practices, I'm gonna get the best out of it.
For sure.
And then here's the thing. The other question is, they might not let me stay around at that top tier program.
They might not.
Because I'm not the type that's gonna say, "Hey, I can't be a Jason Garrett."
Oh yeah, I understand
I
what
just
you mean.
can't be a Jason Garrett.
I get it.
And I always, matter of fact, me and your daddy was talking the other day. I said I would really like to see how Jason Garrett really coach. How do he really coach? But nobody never know.
Yeah, because he's
as
like
long
he's a
as Jerry
puppet.
Jones is living, nobody never know.
That's right. And you don't want to be that. Can't be a lapdog.
I don't want to do that. Now I tell you what, I might do it for 1 year if I can get that salary.
Get that money.
But after that, hey Jerry, you can fire me now because I'm gonna do it my way.
I feel it. And you know what? That's the best. I can remember Jimmy Walker, the third. As soon as I first got the job at Piedmont, his first and last bit of advice was, "Hey man, do it your way." And I try to keep that with me the whole time. But let's say you got a player that wants to come and play for Sidney Carter. Okay, let's say he calls you up on the phone. You maybe you've seen him play, maybe you know him, maybe you don't, or maybe he just walks up on you and say, "Coach, I want to play for your team." All right, what do you say to that? And then here's where I'm coming from. I hear a lot of coaches. I've heard some conversations that kind of baffled me, and I try not to say that this is right or this is wrong. It's just the way I do things versus the way other people do things. I've heard them say, "Man, if you come over here, you can start for me."
Oh, I don't believe that.
What do you say to a player that says, "Coach Carter, I want to come play for you," and you know he good, or she?
The kid said he want to come play for me. My first question is, have you saw me coach?
Well, since I know you, that's a damn good question.
That's my first question.
Right.
And see, I'm gonna tell you what. I did one trial, one time on my AAU team. Stop. I did one trial, and when I did that trial, I had a bunch of players there, and that some of the kids that made the team, they didn't pan out. So from there on, all the rest of my trials was on the telephone.
There you go.
So when I had a kid say, "Coach, I want to come play for you," I said, "Have you seen me coach?" "Yeah." "Okay, now I got a few questions for you. Can you get fussed at without saying anything back?" "Yes." "Can you get cussed out?" "That I'm gonna cuss you out at some point."
There you go.
"Yes." Now here's the main. Can you get hit?
Can you get it?
And if you can't take getting hit, then you can't play for me.
Just a chest shot, you know what I mean?
It's just in the chest. I'm not gonna hit you in the face. I ain't gonna do none of that.
Bam.
And it's not like it's just
like you gonna cock
I'm
back.
cocking back and punching somebody. It's more like, "Boy, get your butt," something like that there.
I remember those.
And if that really bothers somebody that bad, you're not ready to play at that next level. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I would rather for my coach to hit me in my chest any day as opposed to some of that running we used to have.
Yeah, man. No. Just
And
go
you
ahead.
remember 5 Mile Run anyway.
You do that one time. You know what I mean? And I tell my players all the time, listen, when you do running and conditioning stuff like that, it's a lot better when you're doing it for conditioning rather than for punishment.
Yeah.
Because that atmosphere just all.
You're going to know it mentally.
Yeah, you're gonna know it mentally. You know what I mean? Now, I gotta applaud you for that because I've seen some players come through your program, come through your organization that early on, I'm like, man, I don't know. Carter just straight up doing favors now because this kid belongs nowhere near this program. But the kid gave so much effort to where his game didn't do anything but grow. And so, I mean, I just, and that's part of the reason why I agreed to come play for you, during the summer of 2007, right after I graduated, because I saw how you just got cats to go the extra mile for you. And I saw cats that started in your program who, were Rudy Poos, for lack of a better term, turned out to be a player that somebody could do something with beyond that. Now, if you had to narrow it down, I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot. Of all the all the coaching experiences that you've had, all the places you've been, any level, whether it's college, high school, boys, girls, what would you say, which job would you say was the most memorable one? Ooh. Yeah, man. You done been to Hale. You done been to Central. You done been to Rogers. You've had boys. You had girls. See if you can narrow it down, brother.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
That's tough.
That's a tough one.
And you got 2 rings during this journey too.
Rings. Got 2 rings. Got one at Verdigris, got one at Central. I would most definitely say when I was at Central that, and I'm not saying that because you here.
Yeah.
But I mean, because we won the state championship.
We did, man.
And that was my first one.
That was a hell of a journey too, man.
Oh man,
up, down, up again.
Well, and if you remember before I got there, y'all won 5 games the year before, 6.
Yeah, don't shortchange us. Give us 6.
5, 6. That's all to say. It's all bad.
6 and 17, dog. We were out. This is how you know you're bad. When your season is over before March, you didn't really do much, man. We were at the crib.
And of course, though, man, T. Scott. Lord have mercy.
He's a character, man.
I'm telling you, when I was over there coaching, I'm sitting here like, dude, this guy's supposed to be a coach? I know he's supposed to be a comedian. I'm trying to figure out which one. So I was like, this dude need to be on the old Def Comedy Jam or Comic View or something,
Oh, yeah, man.
But like I say, when we won that state championship, and that's a tough question because I get attached to all the players that I coach.
Yeah.
That's really a tough question because I can look at over there at Central when we won the state championship. Well, that was the first state championship I ever won.
Yeah.
So that made that really big.
Yeah, something
but
about that
when I first started coaching too, and I was over at Nathan Hale. Oh man. I mean, I had a great time with them guys, man. Great time. Big Thomas Hill, Jimmy Walker, Cedric Walker. I mean, we had, man.
It was going down.
I mean, and
I remember you told me one story about how y'all had 2 gyms going a pickup. You know what I mean? You had the consolation break.
I go up to McClure Park, probably one of the biggest mistakes I ever made. I go up to McClure Park, and I said, because some of our players, I knew some of our players was up there.
Right.
So I got the key to the gym at Hale. So I say, hey, if anybody want to play on a wood floor, come on up to Nathan Hale.
They had that rubber over there at that time, didn't they?
Nobody else. Well, they was outside playing that floor.
Snap,
I stopped
straight
both
concrete.
games. Yeah, I stopped both games. And so everybody came up there. And I think it was a big mistake. Well, me and Jimmy Walker, senior, we open up the gym, go do the alarms. Jimmy, these alarms are still going off. What's going on? I don't know. It seemed like somebody already in the building. I said, well, Jimmy, this is what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to go out, hurry up and run down here and let everybody in this gym. I said, because I think the police is in here with the police dog.
Oh, wow.
Let's go let everybody in. So if that dog is loose, he won't just come after me and you.
There you go. That's what you do. Everybody else got to be in danger too.
Everybody was in the gym. Yeah. Everybody was in the gym. I'll be dang. Here comes security.
Yeah.
And he told me, he said, y'all lucky because that K9 was loose.
Oh, man.
He was loose. And he said, when I saw all of y'all in the gym, he said, that's when I just grabbed it and had the dog to come right where he was at.
See, that's quick thinking right
I
there,
had to talk to him and let him know that I was one of the coaches. But yeah, we had games going in the big gym. And we had games going in the small gym.
Right.
If you lost in the big gym, you had to go down to the small gym and be the next up in that gym. If you won in the small gym, you came to the big gym.
Yeah, y'all had the consolation gym and everything
man,
going. Winners break.
I walked out of that gym like at 12 o'clock at night, in the morning that night.
See?
Like, wow.
But I bet that was fun though, man.
Oh, it was fun. It was fun. But that was the difference too back then. You had kids want to stay in the gym. You had kids want to stay in the gym. We trying to leave the gym one time, and here's Brian Walker. He's still shooting.
There you go.
His dad said, Brian, let's go. We got to go. He's still shooting.
He ain't caring about none of that.
Brian's shooting in the dark. He's all right. I'm gonna turn the lights off. Brian's still in there shooting.
Still shooting.
When he heard that door shut, then he ran on
time
out.
to go.
Yeah,
I don't want to walk home.
He ran out.
Now, the difference is, though, because I'm pretty sure it's not just one difference, but differences that you've seen from kids during, I guess, when you about 10, 15 years back, okay? Kids that you coached then versus the kids now. There is a difference, but what's the difference? Like, where did somebody go wrong, or where's the disconnect?
This is what I always say. I don't think it's really that much of a difference in the kids.
Uh-huh.
It's everybody up above the coach that done got soft.
So we talking administration now in school systems.
Administration. We talking about, from the service center on. Everybody trying to figure out, well, how can I stop my telephone from ringing? Well, Coach, I had a parent called in. They complaining about they thought you fussed at their kid too much because he missed a shot. Well, I ain't fussing nobody because they missed no shot.
That's ridiculous.
I probably fussed at because he took the shot.
There you go. That's a big difference.
Yes, I didn't need that shot when it's only 30-something seconds left to go in the game and we only up 2 or 3 points.
Yeah.
I don't need that shot, But yeah, it's not the kids because if you really think about it, and that's the reason why I go back to your question earlier about coaching. You see what I'm saying?
I do.
So that's why you got to have that coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to have that coaching. But man, these kids do the same thing, and we would have done the same thing that these kids do today if it would have been allowed.
Yeah, you're right. Whether you got a good kid, so-called, or a bad kid, like if they feel like they can do anything that they want to do and get away with it, you're gonna see a different kid. Yeah. I think you're just gonna see a different kid.
Let me tell you something. I was the leading scorer at Nathan Hale my senior year.
Mm-hmm. What year was that? 94?
94.
Yeah.
When I first told the assistant coach, which was Danny Lyons, I said, Coach Lyons. Because Coach Lyons got me to come in there and start playing at first.
Right.
And when I first started playing, first year I played, led the team in scoring, which was the JV team.
True that.
And I told Coach Lyons, I said, hey, at the end of the season, I shook his hand. I said, hey, I appreciate everything. I said, but I'm not playing for Kelly Clark. That man is crazy. I'm not playing for him. So he tells me, well, come on down and we're going to go talk. Let me talk to Coach Clark right quick. And
there you go.
Know. So he had me to sit outside the office.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he didn't know I went and put my ear towards the door.
Mm-hmm. Trying to see what's happening.
So he said, we got a problem. That's what he told Coach Clark. Coach Clark said, what's the problem? He said, Sidney don't want to play for you next year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do we bleep this out?
Man, listen, you go for it.
So he said, well, Sidney don't want to play for you next year. And so he said, fuck him. Fuck Sidney.
Just like that.
He said, I'm a better coach than that. He said, one player don't determine my program. I'm a better coach than that. You tell him to get his ass out of here then.
Dang.
So
what did that do to you?
I ran from that door and went back and sat down where I was supposed to be sitting.
Right.
So by that time, here come Big Danny Lyons coming out. He said, come walk with me right quick. So we get out the gym and we start walking down the hallway. And I said, what we doing now? He said, hey, man, after talking to Kelly Clark, he really wants you to be a part of this program. I said, but I don't want to play for that guy. He said he really wants you to be a part of this program.
Yeah, and you knew better than that.
But I already knew.
Oh, man. Yeah. So what made you finally just go through with it instead of just saying, I ain't going to do it?
Well, I knew Big Danny Lyons wanted me to play so bad. And I said, man, I guess I'm going to go ahead and try this. Dude, But, man, that dude used to cuss us out. throw balls at us and everything else.
The whole
I'm
bit.
I'm going to tell you what. I appreciate everything that he did. Because I remember one game where I knocked down a few threes.
Yeah.
And I remember ball of my ankle touched the floor. I need one. I need one.
You turned it good.
That sub ran right past me, pointed somebody else. I had to turn right back around and stay in the game. So the thing that I liked about him, which I ended up setting a record that game for most threes in the game.
What was the number?
Which was 8.
8, okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking 7. My bad.
No, you know what? You're right. It was 7.
It was 7?
It was 7. It felt like 8.
Oh, stretch it out then.
Well, like you said, don't remember tight. It sounds better.
It sounds better. 8 or 12. Yeah, 12 sounds better. I feel that. No blessing blocking.
But it taught me how to stop being mentally weak.
Mm-hmm.
One time I asked for a sub because I thought I was thirsty.
Yeah.
He kept me in the game. Next thing you know, I go on a run. I hit 4 threes in a row.
Oh,
well,
now you
I
don't
would
want to
hit
come
them
out.
4 threes if he would have allowed me to be mentally weak.
That's right.
And then I had to kind of check myself. Boy, it's only a 32-minute game.
That's true.
You don't smoke no weed. You don't drink.
What you hurting? What's hurting? But hold on now, because I've heard you say before, though, when you coach, you say, hey, if you tired, let us know. Don't be selfish and try to hog the minutes and be out there hurting the team. And what, were you able to push yourself through that wall, if you're being honest?
That's all it is.
Okay.
That's all it is. Mm-hmm. You know, and I just tell y'all the same thing. It's a wall in front of you every day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what are you going to do? Are you going to just hit it and fall back? You going to go 50 miles this way, 50 miles this way to try to get around that wall, or you going to just knock it down?
There you go. I used to hear that, too.
Yeah.
I remember them words for real. Girls
and
versus...
we knocked it down.
We did.
Yeah,
we
we
did.
knocked it down.
We did.
We went through it.
We got to make a little history, man. I'm very proud of that, man. Now, matter of fact, I was going to ask you something else, but since you touched on it, there's always something, and I struggle to put this into words, all right? Because I think whenever you hear from a lot of coaches, they all can say pretty much the same things when they say, hey, in order to win a championship, you got to do X, Y, Z. If you're going to be a championship team, you got to be able to do X, Y, Z. True, but to some degree, a lot of that is generic stuff if you never won one. Like, what, in your opinion, let me see if I can word this right. What would you say is different about knowing what it takes to win a championship when you've done it versus when you haven't done it? You see what I'm saying? Like, you and I can have a different conversation about the championship because we both went through it and experienced it. But how is what I'm saying different from another player who's telling you, Coach, I know if I don't play defense, we ain't going to win the championship?
And I'm just telling you, to win a championship, it's going to be them 2 Ds. It's going to be discipline and defense. You can go put in all the offense you want.
Right.
Nolan Richardson told me this one time. He told me, he said, you can win a championship just running just a motion offense. Don't even run no plays. What you doing on that defensive end?
That's right.
Which he did it at Arkansas.
Yep.
He did it at Arkansas.
Heck yeah, man.
And you know, then some people probably say, well, why can you win championship? Well, some people don't just get to win championship.
Yeah,
like
they're not
that.
that easy.
It's tough.
Yeah.
You got to have the right type of luck to win championship.
Right. Yeah, because everybody's good at what they do, though.
Yeah. And since I really don't like them, I most definitely throw this on there. And we had a little bit of luck when we beat Union, and it seemed like, 3 overtimes?
Oh, man. I think it was 2, but 3 sounds better.
It was something. I know it was a bunch of buzzer beater shots.
It was, oh, God.
It was a buzzer beater shot every quarter, seemed like.
It was 2, yeah. It was 2 OTs, and that game took forever, man.
And I remember Chris Watson had the ball in his hand, and he just dribbled. I said, shoot it, and he said, Coach, I didn't know how much time. He said, but I heard you say shoot, so I just threw it up. And that goes in.
That won the game in the second overtime.
And that was, at half court?
Oh, yeah. Well, let's not embellish. It was about like a step. It may have been closer to the volleyball line, maybe, than it was half court. Because he got a steal at the top. And then he took about a dribble and a couple of steps, and then he shot it up. And this is around Christmas in 05.
It was on their tournament.
Yeah, man. And boy, I mean, that was a tough one right there, man.
On their court.
Yeah. Now I know you and Coach Scott would always tell us, man, I don't know if y'all said it in exact words, but for some reason, to me, maybe I was just kind of corny because I used to actually listen to the grown folks when they said stuff. And I always felt like y'all felt as if something was special about that team. How and when did y'all know, okay, this team right here may be able to go and do this? Can you remember a moment to where it just clicked? We're like, yo, we here.
I'm going to tell you when it hit me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget it. T. Scott. After a game, that's how he's sitting on the
he down, coach.
He was down and out.
Down to nothing.
He was down, yeah.
That's in his own words.
Down to nothing.
I'm down to nothing,
He's
coach.
ready to slit his throat.
I slit my throat, coach. I'm going to casino, man. I'm donating money.
And I never forget it, though. I walked into his office and I said, T, I said, we all right, man. I said, we all right. He said, what you mean? I said, Coach. And that was the month that I want to say we did a lot of losing.
January.
Was it January?
Yeah, man. We went like 1-8, 1-9, something like that.
That's when we got on that little spree. Matter of fact, I want to say it was after the game that we gave away to Midwest City.
Yeah, man.
And he was laying on that desk, and I told him, I said, we're going to be all right. He said, why you say that? I said, Scott, I said, when we go into the locker room, after we talk to them, we tell the players to put their shorts in this pile, tops in this pile. I said, then those players stack it up. I said, then when they stack it up, they getting dressed. I said, I sit there and I'm listening. Nobody is pointing the finger at nobody. You know, they talking about what we need to do as a team. We gonna be all right, fella. That's what everybody's telling each other. That's when I told T. Scott, I said, we fine. I said, long as we don't have nobody pointing the finger, we got a chance. I said, all we got to do is make it to the state tournament.
Yeah.
I said, once we make it to the state tournament, anything happens.
Man.
And that right there happened.
Now, being honest, that year, and we're talking the 2005-2006 season, in your opinion, do you think that we were the best team in Class 5A during that year, or the most talented?
No.
I don't think so either, man, if I'm being honest.
No, I'm hoping we was really in the middle of the pack.
Yeah. Just from a talent perspective.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at teams like, who was good that year?
But I will say this here, and I believe this with all my heart. We were the most disciplined team in 5A.
Yeah.
And I used to tell y'all all the time, discipline gonna take us a long ways with this team. But yeah, I will say that we was more disciplined.
Knew our dang roles and everything.
And I felt like there, and it could have been, because I don't know, because I wasn't in everybody's gym.
Right.
But I felt like no other team was outworking us. I mean, we was getting up 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
You know who all was practicing at that time at 6 in the morning? I knew Booker T Girls was. They were state champions too.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
You see
what
I'm
I'm saying?
saying?
That's right.
And
it's a different grind.
I remember telling y'all, it's okay if there's 2 teams in Tulsa that's outworking us. I said, I'll take that. And I told y'all, those 2 teams got to be
ORU and TU. I remember that.
ORU and TU.
That's true. That's true, though,
we're not going to be able to outwork them.
No.
I'm sorry, because y'all going to have to go to class a little bit longer than what they do.
There you go.
They
Bottom
got
line.
3 classes on Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
And that was a grind that we knew nothing about. But we were getting ready, though.
Yeah.
We were getting
ready.
Now, you can decline to go into this, or you can go ahead and have at it. But I'm going to throw it out. I'd be remiss if I don't touch on it. Now, I remember my senior year, okay? This was 06, 07. We're fresh off the state championship run. We're returning all 5 starters and then some, okay? Jeremy Glazier, he was our leading scorer the previous year. And him and Marcus Lewis, they both graduated, okay? But we actually, on paper, made up their absence. So we were actually better, I think, from a personnel perspective on paper. And then we just weren't able to get it done. I think it was a combination of us not working as hard as we did the year before, plus teams really wanting to get at the champs. What do you think was, if you could put it into one thing, if you could narrow it down to just one thing, what was it that tripped us up to where we weren't able to achieve the same level of success the second time around?
That was our fault. I put that on the coaches. I put that on the coaches. And the reason why I say that, because I remember going to T. Scott and I said, hey, man, we gonna lighten up on them. We lighten up on them. I said, we got to get back hard on them like we were. You know, because you remember we had the rule if one person was sagging, 5-mile run before practice started.
Straight up. Hat on, shades on.
If it was too cold outside, whoever did something in that school, go stand at half court. Everybody else get on the baseline and run for him.
Hot. Hot, boy.
But then we had a lot of little distractions that year.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
that's true.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think that was the year quite a few bad things happened. Wasn't that the same year that even Mookie and them died?
Well, that was the year before.
That was the year before.
Yeah, when Johnny Young got murdered, man, that was February 2006, no question. But there was some residual effects of that occurred, the previous year. Just kind of getting mixed up in a lot of that stuff. So you're on the right track.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff.
But I know we had players doing stuff that they wasn't supposed to be doing.
Oh, no question. No question, man.
And but like I say, and that goes back to what we was talking about earlier. Do coaching matters?
Oh, it matters.
Yeah, because like I say, we wasn't nowhere on y'all like we were the year before.
And I actually think it's by the grace of God that we got back to the dance, to the state tournament itself.
And I told some people. I remember, matter of fact, Jimmy Walker, he was coaching at NEO. And I remember telling Jimmy, I said, I'll tell you this right now, we're good enough to get to the state tournament. I said, but after that first game, we'll be done.
That's exactly what happened.
And I told him, and that's what happened.
Yeah, man, Campbell.
But because it was, once again, lost a little bit of discipline.
Right.
And I understand where T. Scott was coming from. Well, we won it last year, so we should be able to. But it don't. T. Scott, you got more rings than me. You know better than that. Yeah.
and look, as a coach now, it's like as good as I like to think my better guys are, they still teenagers and can't trust them. You can't trust them cats, man.
I've heard some parents trying to bet on some high school games. I said, y'all gonna bet on some kids?
Oh, that's the worst move.
I said, first of all, y'all don't know what they did the night before, and you don't know what they did after 7th hour class.
No, man, no. They trying to figure life out, man.
You don't know some of these kids that went and smoked some weed. You don't know where their head's gonna be at before this game.
That's true.
So I'm like, no, I would never bet on no kids.
Now, listen in. I've never really said this to you, and you may know, you may not, but I can remember something went wrong between you and Coach Scott. So there was a rift in y'all's relationship toward, I'd say, maybe the spring of 2007. And it kind of hurt my feelings a little bit because you're two guys that I had a lot of respect for, and I still got a lot of respect for. And, it's almost as if I had to. Nobody said this to me, but I felt as if I was like, man, I don't know who to be down with here. You know what I'm saying? Coach Scott, this is my guy. You know what I'm saying? Been in his program for 4 years. Coach Carter been here for 2 years, and it feels like 4. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, they both know their stuff, but it's like, Man, do you even remember or know what that was all about when y'all had y'all's friction?
I really don't. I really don't. But I do remember some stuff was getting back to Coach Scott. I was having a talk with LaRon Buggs.
Big Buggs?
Lil Buggs.
Oh, Lil Buggs.
When they was still
Marquise.
playing at the time. And I was telling him, man, you too dang quiet. You play this game, you act like you're in the library. You want to win with this team.
Right.
You're going to have to start talking and be a leader. If you don't do that, I said, y'all won't win no more than about 5 or 6 games.
Oh, so this is the 07-08 year then, when they were seniors.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I didn't graduate.
Dang, another player heard that.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be dang if that player don't go back and tell Coach Scott, well, Coach Carter says since he's not coaching no more, y'all ain't gonna win no more 5 games. So,
wait a minute, man. So they just added all that in there.
Oh, yeah.
Golly. And then listen, I can remember y'all didn't have a conversation for at least about, I don't know how long, a year or 2, something like that. In the same building, though, for a little bit.
It was, I don't know if it went that long. But,
okay, maybe I stretched it a little bit.
Yeah, it wasn't that long because I remember even when neither one of them knew what we was really mad about.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the 6'10" that I was telling you about, my teammate that I played in college, he was coaching college at the time.
Okay.
And because I had called him and said, hey, you need to come up here to Central. I said, the head coach name is Terry Scott. I said, you'll meet him but come up here and watch some of the players. And I remember he came down and watched some of the players.
He actually showed?
Yeah.
Man, that's cool.
Yeah. So, but no, and this is what, matter of fact, your dad used to tell me, man, you need to talk to Coach Scott. Man, y'all won the state championship. I said, man, look here. I don't have no problem with Coach Scott.
Yeah.
Now Coach Scott look at WWE. He in that Ric Flair mode. He turned on me.
He turned on he turned heel on you. Man, look, boy.
But yeah, and I would probably say is when me and T. Scott really started back talking pretty good again and back on telephone. I had went down to a Muskogee game. He had took the job down there in Muskogee. And I went down there to a game, and And I told him, I said, hey, man, I don't know if your coaches really agree with everything that you do. I don't know if they really behind you.
I remember you said that to me one time.
Yeah, and I told him, I said, hey, you need to kind of watch your coaches. That's when we really started back talking again. I mean, man, basketball is a game that we love.
True.
It's a game that helps a lot of people out. You know, but I don't take that stuff personal like that. Yeah. I had referees thought I did. And
I done seen you
talk to them, you know, off the court.
And
hey, man, I thought you was mad at me.
Man, I was coaching.
I was when you was making all them bad calls during the game.
Yeah.
You made 5 bad calls in a row. Yeah, I'm pissed off at you.
Yeah, and then y'all sitting there laughing about it.
The game is over now. Yeah, the game is over.
That's how you do that right there.
Yeah.
Now, Marcus Lewis. All right, we rest in peace to him. He was a part of that state championship team, and he was a player that you spent a lot of time coaching, and spent a lot of time being other forces in his life other than just a coach. Losing him, him having that untimely death, man. How did that affect you, man?
Oh man, that anytime you coach a kid, and at that point, that was the second player that I had coached that passed away. But man, it was tough.
Told me that.
And I'm gonna tell you what was even tougher was when I ended up picking up his son. And matter of fact, I brought him over to your daddy.
You did. I was like, look at this boy looking just like his daddy, man. Yeah.
And I remember driving that car, and he had asked me for something. I said, well, no, not right now. And boy, he put them on like this here, and he kind of put that head down. And I turned around and I had to almost stop the car. And I'm looking at this boy, and I'm saying to myself, boy, you whine just like your dad. But it was tough, though. When I first started picking him up and started, dealing with me, that was tough. Because just for the fact that he looked so much like Marcus.
Yeah.
Oh, it was tough.
Man.
It was tough.
Coming through it. Now, listen, I know I had you sitting here for almost an hour. Here's how we're going to put a bow and a ribbon on this thing. I'm going to throw some coaches' names at you, okay? And whatever comes to mind, I want you to just shoot it at me, all right? And you've been around a long time, so I know you know a lot of people and rub some elbows and some shoulders with some names. So I'm going to throw some names at you, and we're going to see where you're coming from with it. Nate Harris.
Legend. That's all you can say.
That's all you can say, man. Legend.
Nate, I'm going to say this about Nate. When I was coaching at Hale, I said anybody can win over that Booker T with all that talent. When I started coaching AAU, and I did have a team that was stacked. I mean, big. We was big. I mean, we was stacked.
Right.
And that's when I really earned a lot more respect for Nate Harris, because I said, man, it's harder to coach more talent than a team that's less talented. So I didn't really know how big he was on his X's and O's. Right. Which they was whooping people butt so much we never got a chance to see too many X's and O's. Yeah, it was
just talent, superior. Not to take anything away from his greatness, though.
But, and I remember telling Robert Meacham, I said, man, I don't know how y'all pass the ball to Levi Harris like that all the time. He shoots it every time. And this comes from coaching too, though. Yeah. And Robert Meacham said, we just want to win. I couldn't make him mad to where he said, you know what, you're right, I'm going to stop it, because we had to play him the next game.
Yeah, you're trying to get in his head.
I'm already trying to beat him.
Trying to divide. He said, no, we ain't going for that.
Robert Meacham said, we just want to win.
Bottom line. That's a good answer. Luther Piggies.
49. What is it, 49-29?
Something like that. 49-29, Hey, man. You ain't got that voice, man.
You got to respect any coach. You have to respect any coach that coached at McLean. And to do the things that he did. I agree. One, that man got his picture on the wall.
Bottom line.
To get your picture on the wall, that means you got to do a lot of winning.
That's for sure.
But that's not an easy program to coach at.
No.
So, I mean, much respect. Legend.
Oh, yeah.
He's got to be in that boat.
Eric Savage.
Man. Eric Savage.
Yeah, man.
And I can't stand Memorial.
Yeah, I know you can. I know you can't. And he's not there anymore though. He's Sand Springs now, man.
Sand Springs, and then
it
was a rivalry because I was coaching at Sapapa. He was a
That's
rivalry,
true.
So it's still hard to try to like him.
That's true.
But Savage, pretty cool guy though, man. But I'm gonna tell you what, that guy can get the most out of his players than a lot of coaches I've been around.
Yeah.
I mean, he get the most
I've seen
out
that.
of him.
No
he
question.
Get the most out of him. A hell of a coach. Him went over there to Sand Springs, and people know Sand Springs used to get beat by 30 or 40 every game.
They used to get drove, man. They used to be the doormat of the conference.
Yeah, now
for sure.
he went over there. He pissed a few people off because
he must have been doing things the right way.
Yeah. And I always say, if you can piss somebody off and make a few people don't like you, that means you're doing your job.
Now what's next for you, man? How long you gonna be on the shelf before you start itching again and get out there on somebody's sideline helping somebody out?
Can't do it.
Can't do it? You say it's done? You officially declaring on Sports Speak that it's a wrap?
I'm done.
Only the summers?
I do summertime.
You do summertime?
That's it. Because here's the thing about the summer.
Uh-huh.
If a parent don't like what's going on, you just take your ass somewhere else. Because I ain't finna have them meetings.
Right.
I'm not finna have them meetings while your kid not playing.
Right. No bosses or none of that.
Yeah, ain't no athletic director to set up no meeting, none of that.
None of that. It's all you.
It's over. Go. But I tell you what, once he leave, he can't come back.
That's always been your rule.
Yeah,
I remember hearing it.
He can't come back.
My man. Coach Carter, I appreciate it, my brother.
I appreciate you, man.
All right, man. Appreciate y'all for listening to Sports Speak Podcast. We'll hit you in another week with something else. My man, Bus Carter, man. He told you it wasn't going to be that bad. You know what I'm saying?
He told me 15 minutes.
Nah,
he told me 15.